set me free. Christ my Savior, you rescued me. Take this life, deliver a vessel of your love. Holy now devoted to see your kingdom come. Thank you, Jesus. Set me free. Christ my Savior, you rescued me. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. You set me free. Christ my Savior, you rescued me. Thank you, Lord. No one like you, Lord. We worship you, God. There's nothing like you, Lord. We adore you, God. Come on, with one voice, we sing it out tonight. You've given me life. You've opened my eyes. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. You've entered my heart. You've set me apart. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. You've given me life. You've opened my eyes. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. You've entered my heart. You've set me apart. I love you, Lord. I love you, You've given me life. You've opened my eyes. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. You've entered my heart. You've set me apart. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. You've given me life. You've opened my eyes. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. You've entered my heart. You've set me apart. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. You set me free. Christ my Savior, you rescued me. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. You set me free. Christ my Savior, you rescued me. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
soul. I know you're here, this quiet place. You're drawing near. Speak to my unrest, Lord, I lay it at your feet. Recall your promises in the shadow of your wings, and I will be still and know you are God. I will be still and know. Be still, my soul. Your peace will come. For when you speak, the waters calm. The storms around me rage. I am anchored by your love. So I will lift my gaze. I know where my help comes from. So I will be still and know you are God. Yes, I will be still and know. Oh, I will be still and know you are God. Yes, I will be still and know. In the stillness, you are moving, pulling me close to your heart. In my weakness, Lord, you're refining like a new wine. You're pouring me out. Oh, in the stillness, you are moving and pulling me close to your heart. In my weakness, Lord, you're refining, and like a new wine, you're pouring me out. Oh, so I will be still and know you are God. Yes, I will be still and know. Oh, I will be still and know you are God. Yes, I will be still and know. I will be still and know you are God. I will be still and know.
God of Abraham, you're the God of covenant and of faithful promises. Time and time again, you have proven you do just what you said. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I'll remain steadfast and let my heart learn when you speak is your faithfulness to me. From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me.
Did anyone come here? Yeah. Why? Are you playing hide and seek? Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming. It's really nice to see. Hey Cole, how you going? If we can get everyone to come and sit in the front 4 rows, is that too optimistic? Let's try the front 4. As it's easy if everyone's closer to the front. That's all. So if we can get front 4 rows, and someone can be brave and sit in the very front row. I have this theory that you should put the front row so front that no one will sit, because no one's going to sit there anyway, and that can be just like a buffer. But let's see if anyone's going to. Oh, we got the Snellings in the front row. Well done. If we can sit in the front 4 rows, I don't think there's enough people to fill up that many anyway. So, yay. Hey? Everyone's on the left. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah. Okay. Are we on? Ooh, okay, so thank you everyone for coming. For those of you who don't know our whole family, our kids are around somewhere, but they've kind of been through this multiple times. So so Mitchie's jumping at the cry room. Oh, he's hiding now. Oh, there he is. Okay. So Amy and I, and then Zoe and Felicity, they're now 16. Jonathan's 14. Mitchell is 11. And we've been in Taiwan for the last 10 years, mostly involved in church planting.
So we live in a town called Donggang, which is south of Taiwan. It's about 40 minutes from Kaohsiung, which is a major city in Taiwan. Dongang's about 50,000 people, probably about 1% Christians. And then in OMF Taiwan, our vision there is, through God's grace, we long to see reproducing communities of disciples among the working class people of Taiwan. And so this is what we're doing in Donggang. And so what Aaron and I do is we go out and meet people in their homes, at the shops, at the markets, in their places of work, to build relationships with them and start sharing the gospel with them. This is a picture of... you want to go back? Yeah, that's just a picture of Donggang. So Donggang is a coastal town. Its main industries are fishing and tourism, and the number one attraction in town is the temple called Donglongong. And so Aaron and I, just during the week, we go meet people, share Bible stories, read the Bible with them, and then we also have a fellowship group on Friday night at our home. And our hope for Donggang is that Christians and non-Christians all have an opportunity and a community that they will be able to attend. In Donggang, we do have churches, but all the churches have their service on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And a lot of people in Taiwan work 6 or 7 days a week. And so don't have an opportunity to step into a church, or just even if they weren't Christians, they wouldn't close their shop to step into a church. So we hope that we can make connections with the churches in Donggang, and also have home groups in people's homes or in their shops, so that everyone has an opportunity or a Christian community that they can go to.
So the major attraction So one of the big tourist attractions actually in Donggang is a temple called Donglong Temple, Donglong, and there is a festival that happens every 3 years. So watch a video about that. Okay, so I forgot to mention, if at any time you have questions or comments, just yell out, stick your hand up if you like, but feel free to speak. So yeah, feel free to ask questions. Oh, okay. We now have an activity. Do you think we can fit everyone? We'll see how we go. What we need to do, we're going to do an activity where you become Taiwan. Okay, so you become the land of Taiwan. So first of all, what I need is about 6 or 7 taller people. So if you are over, 170 centimeters or thereabouts, can you stand up if you're over 170? Or do we need to go lower? Is that enough? Oh, excellent. You guys come up the front. Give them a hand. Yay. If you guys can come and just sit in the top step here. Okay, so Taiwan, right down the middle, no, on the east side really, sit close to each other, there is a mountain range. So these tall guys, you are the mountain range. Okay, this is the mountain range. On the east coast, pretty much like half of it, it's like mountain, cliff, and sea. There's not much land at all. There's a little bit of land here, a little bit of land here, but most of the land is on the west coast. So this is the west coast, China over there, Pacific Ocean over there. So the west coast is mostly plains, often very many flood-prone areas, very flat areas. So we need, you don't all have to volunteer, but we need at least about 10 more people. So if you want, yep, come on up. If we can get any 10 people who are willing to volunteer, just sit on this side. So we've got 2, anyone else? Okay, 3, 4. Yeah, just along this line, and then we need more up here, a couple up here. This area. We need one more person kind of down here. There's a flat bit sticking out down here. Okay, excellent. Okay, so then we have Taiwan now. You guys are very good. So the joke, well, it's not really a joke. Sometimes people say Taiwan looks like a sweet potato from the top because it's narrow, kind of bulges out and kind of narrows again. So we have Taiwan, we have our sweet potato here. So let's do some geography. Taiwan has these mountains because it's on a major fault line that shares the West Pacific, Japan, Philippines. And so what happens is every now and then you have earthquakes. So there are 3 main areas where earthquakes happen. One is in the north, in Hualien, around here. So you guys shake a bit? Yeah, okay. So you get one there. And then you have another fault line down here in Taitung. So you guys here shake a bit? Yeah. And Donggang's there. And because we're on the coast over there in the plains, we hardly feel the earthquakes, even if there's one nearby. And then the big main one is down in the middle in Nantol. So in the middle here, you guys shake a bit. Yeah, there we go. All right, so you got earthquakes. Earthquakes, you have no warning, and then they just come. And then you see how heavy they are. If they're light, you kind of go, oh, dung, 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 dung. It's like, okay. If they're heavy, then furniture starts to shake. And we haven't been in ones where it's gotten that bad. So the whole building's been shaking, but we didn't break anything. But when it gets really big, plates fall off and things like that. But yeah, they're usually not too bad, but every now and then there's big ones. Okay, because you're on the West Pacific, you also have typhoons. Typhoons develop in the Pacific. Down over here, they come up towards the Philippines, and then they usually either come into the down here, and so the East Coast gets most of the rain. So you get the rain, but you also get wind. Now, depending, a typhoon can come up here and just kind of blow this, or typhoon can come up here and then kind of blow over here. There was one typhoon that came down here, round the south coast. And so we're in Donggang here, and the eye of the storm was only 20 kilometers off the coast. So we got big winds over here. There you go. So that was fun. We had winds of over 250 kilometers an hour. Big tree trunks, about this big, trees that trunks this big just snapped. So it wasn't uprooted, the whole tree just snapped. Amy's telling me I'm being violent with the thing. Okay, so you get these typhoons. Typhoons are usually easier to manage because you have weather reports, you know they're coming, the government calls a day off, you sit in your home and mop up all your leaks. So they're generally not a dangerous thing in Taiwan because most houses are quite safe for that. So usually if someone dies in a typhoon, it's because they're at the beach watching big waves, or they're riding outside on a scooter without a helmet and a stray brick flies and hits them or something like that. So generally typhoons they can get a little bit scary, but then they're more of a nuisance, but they're also required to fill up the reservoirs and dams. So Taiwan relies on big storms just for water. So Taiwan gets less rainfall per capita than places like Saudi Arabia, just because the land is so small and there's so many people. Okay, For a period of time, Taiwan was also under Japanese rule for 50 years, from 1895 to 1945, end of World War II. They built the rail. So here's a train, and the railway goes all the way from north, all the way down to the south. They also built schools, universities, and canals for irrigation. But as with most colonial things, there's good and bads to all of it. And, oh yeah, I forgot to talk about high bits, didn't we? Okay, so the three main cities in Taiwan are Taipei, which is over here, Taichung in the middle, which is now the second largest, and then Kaohsiung down south, the third largest city. And in Taiwan, there's maybe 4 or 5% Christians, but they tend to be amongst the middle class. I mean, not entirely, but they tend to be, and they tend to be in the big cities. So they tend to be, especially places like Taipei and Taichung, would have quite a number of churches. Taichung has a lot for some reason. So Taichung's kind of around here. Hey, Dad, you can hold this one. And then Kaohsiung's here as well. But across Taiwan, there are a lot of temples. And even though most people would call themselves Buddhist or something like that, the main religion is really, it's a mix of Buddhism, Taoism, and mostly Chinese folk religion. So people would go to a temple, there's a god or multiple gods there. Like you saw in the video, they'll go and they'll offer things in hope for return for some sort of blessing. So there are temples all over Taiwan, all over the place, even in the mountains, in the cities, and especially in the countryside in terms of per capita, there's lots and lots of temples. And so that'll be the main religion. So this is where if you look up stats, it doesn't really help because the stats will say, 60% Buddhist, 30% Taoist, but that's not really describing what things are like there. There you go, so there's temples everywhere. And so we're in Donggang, and so OMF, we tend to be away from the big cities, not necessarily, but tend towards the places where there's less Christians and probably more temples per capita at least. Is that it? Oh, language, okay. For political and cultural reasons, in the north and towards the cities, people tend to speak more Mandarin. So all you guys in this half, you guys repeat after me, Ni hao. Okay, very good. And then in the south, and especially away from the cities, people tend more to speak Taiwanese, Hokkien. So they'll say, Li ho. Okay, very good. Is there anything else? I think that's it. Okay, thank you everyone. You did very well. Thank you. You can return to your seats and just hang on to those pieces of paper. Oh yeah, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. Where did I put the pointer thing? Here. Anyone got questions? No? Comments? Thoughts? Okay. This is you? This is you.
So this is a picture of our Friday night fellowship in our house. This is a Christmas celebration. So there's a few more people here than would usually attend. What I mentioned before, we go meet people in their shops, in their homes, and we read the Bible with them. So we have all these people that we meet, but we never actually gathered them. And so about 5 years ago, one of our colleagues said, why don't we just have a time and we'll just try and gather as many of these people that we meet together for a fellowship group. So we started one on a Friday night at our house. What we do is I will cook a meal, people will bring some food, eat together, clean up together, and then we'll sing, read the Bible, and pray together. And so we had a few units that would come every week, but over the years, people have come and gone. And now we are left, well not left, now our group is just two women, one who brings her daughter and another lady. And over the past year or so, I think we thought about whether or not it's worth to continue this fellowship group because it's just two women coming every week. And for us, we think, yes, it is very much worth doing. These two women, when they started coming, were not Christians. They were very interested in reading the Bible. But over the time, they have started to, when they share in our group, they will say, we Christians. And I think now both of them are Christians. We don't know when God changed their hearts, but we know that in God's timing, He has made them His child. And so I think we continue on with this group, and our prayer for this group is that we do gather more people together and have fellowship together as a group. And eventually we do want to train local Taiwanese people to run and lead this group.
Okay. Oh, there's a blank. Oh, here we go. Quiz time. Wait. Oh. Okay. This requires everyone to stand up. There'll be a question. There's only a few. If you think the answer is what's written in the top left corner, you have to walk to this corner. If you think the answer is in the top right, you have to walk to that corner. And if you think the answer is in the bottom left, oh, this is getting tricky. Yeah, I think you have to go to the back corner and then bottom right, the back corner there. Yeah, because you can't. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll just do. We'll see how we go. Okay, so first one. What is the population of Taiwan? 19 million, 24 million, 28 million, 37 million. I give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the answer is it's about 24 million. Yeah. So 10 years ago, when we left for Taiwan, Australia's population and Taiwan's population was almost the same. But since then, Taiwan's population hasn't really gone up at all. It's got a very low birth rate. Every now and then, the newspaper reports, this month the population's gone down. So that's Taiwan. Work. Oh, okay. Taiwan is about the size of Hong Kong, half of Tasmania, or Victoria. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Don't have to run. I'll need to take. Yep. Okay. The answer is it's about the size of half of Tasmania. Yeah, very good. So imagine all of Australia's population and half of Tasmania, but remember there's that mountain range which is not very populated, so about half of Taiwan's also not inhabited really, so it's a very dense place. Okay, the second most spoken language in Taiwan is Mandarin, Truku, Hakka, or Taiwanese, so Taiwanese Hokkien. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, so the second most spoken language is Taiwanese. About 2/3 of the population speaks Taiwanese. Almost everyone speaks Mandarin. Truku is an Aboriginal language. There are Aboriginal peoples in Taiwan. The current thinking is that Taiwanese Aborigines are the progenitors of the Polynesians. So you know the movie Moana, how they went out and then they sailed across the Pacific. So current thing is they came from Taiwan down into the Philippines, Indonesia, and out towards what's now Hawaii, the New Zealand with the Maoris, Tongan Samoans. So if you see big Samoan-looking guys in Taiwan, they're probably Aboriginals. Yeah. 1 Australian dollar equals how many Taiwanese dollars now, approximately? 10, 20, 30, 40 Taiwanese dollars. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone's getting their steps in for the day. It's about 20. It's about 20 Taiwanese dollars, yeah. When we left, when the Aussie dollar was higher than the US, it was something like 35.
30.
No, it was over 30. Yeah, because, but now it's a bit lower. So there you go. Oh, wait. How much does a simple lunchbox in Donggang cost? Oh, wait. Oh, it did twice. Here we go. How much does a simple lunchbox in Donggang cost? About 40 Taiwanese dollars, so $4. 120, 200, 400. Okay, so Donggang, it costs about 80 NT, New Taiwan dollars. But if you go to Taipei, it's almost double that. So Taipei costs a lot more than the rest of the country, pretty much. So, yeah. Okay, in which of these sports did Taiwan, competing as Chinese Taipei, win a gold medal at the last Olympics? Taekwondo, table tennis, weightlifting, archery. Okay, 5 seconds. They won medals in all of these, by the way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, just guess. Okay, so that year they won gold in men's doubles badminton and also weightlifting. Yeah, she was the world champion for whatever her weight division is. And they got like silvers and bronzes in the others here as well. Okay, what is the population of Donggang? 10, 25, 50, 75,000. So where we live in Donggang. Yeah, this is the have you been paying attention quiz part. Okay, the population of Donggang is about 50,000 people. Yeah. And approximately how many Christians are there in Donggang? 50, 200, 400, 800. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So there are approximately 400. I mean, maybe 300 something, but 400, closer to 400. So, so it's under 1% of Donggang. Okay, is that the last one? Okay, that's the last. You can all sit down now. Thank you. You guys did very well. Wasn't that fun? I enjoyed it. I enjoy it every time I do this. Is this me? Oh, okay. So if you have any questions, feel free to speak anytime. We teach English at a couple of schools. And most of the time we try to do ministry which we can pass on to other Taiwanese people. And so then why do we teach English? Because that's not something we can pass on to our Taiwanese friends to do. Well, this school in particular is called Shui Li Primary School. Shui Li kind of means kind of like waterworks, irrigation, that kind of gives you a sense of what the place is like. It's full of fish farms and it's a socio-demographic kind of lower end. So one year, there was one of the grades, which is now finished primary school, but one of the grades, there were 12 kids and 11 of the kids didn't meet the minimum standards. So you know how you do NAPLAN and things like that? They didn't meet the bare minimum. So the school got extra funding for like extra classes and things like that. So it's a type of, a lot of parents work what would be the equivalent of casual work. So every week you'd find out how many days of work you get. And it could be none, it could be 5, 6, 7. And, but the main, and one of the things about English is a main subject in Taiwan from at least year 3. Oh, there's a question, yes. Woo.
What's the average class size?
Oh, this is a really small school, so it's about 10 to 12. Yeah, it's a really tiny school. So each grade's only got one class. Yeah, it's a tiny, tiny school. Yeah, any other questions? So English is a major subject, and you have to do it from at least year 3 all the way to year 12, and it's a compulsory subject. And generally speaking, kids who do better at English are ones who parents are willing or can afford to send their kids to extra tuition. So it's a little bit of a class thing. And so we try to teach English just as a way to help a bit, especially for them to hear native English speakers. They like there's not many native English speakers, especially in that village and that town. So it's actually not in Donggang, it's the next town. But the main reason we also do it is because we get to teach English and tell Bible stories. So for this school, we actually spend half the class teaching English, and then half the class we tell a Bible story in Mandarin. And it's a public school, and in a public school, you're not allowed to preach, but telling Bible stories is okay for some reason. So we get to tell Bible stories. what was I going to say? Yeah, okay. And so the families that the kids are from are mostly also traditional folk religion families. So they generally wouldn't get to hear about Jesus very much either. So we go and we teach English and tell Bible stories, and usually after we tell the Bible stories, we ask two questions. The first two questions are the ones that we usually use when we do Bible studies elsewhere. So we ask them, what do you like about the story? And what questions do you have? So there was this one time I was telling the creation story, days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And when I was telling it, I was drawing up on the board. And then afterwards, I asked them, what do you like? And I asked them, what questions do you have? And because I'm drawing up on the blackboard, so the kids ask things like, oh, why is the pig so fat? Or why does the man have no hair? That kind of thing. But they also ask questions like, well, why did God make the man and woman? Why did God want people to govern the sea and the sky? Why is God a man and a woman? Were they adults or children when God made them? So a lot of insightful questions. There was another time I was telling the Easter story, and I got to the part where the women go to the tomb and Jesus is not there, and the men in the shining in the white clothes, they said to him, oh, why are you looking for the living among the dead? And the kids are like, really? Did he really rise from the dead? And when I asked them, what questions you have, one of the kids turned to their normal English teacher and asked him, oh, does that mean that we can rise from the dead? And so sometimes they ask questions, we're not sure if we can answer them, might be too direct. But we hope that we can keep going, and then through these Bible stories, and hopefully that, also that they might meet other Christians, maybe one day they will come to faith. And when Jesus comes back, we can all rise from the dead together. Not working. Okay, yep. Oh, question.
How do you approach your English teaching?
Oh, so we're not trained in teaching anything. So we kind of just go with it. My approach is I don't know what the term is, but I like teaching using, it's a method where I would teach 2 or 3 sentences, and I'd reuse those sentences over and over, maybe make up a story and ask questions back and forward. And so it's so that's how I would teach. A lot of verbal listening, hearing, because that's the thing they lack. They get a lot of written and memorize vocab lists, but they don't get a lot of hearing and speaking. So that's my approach. Amy likes to use activity sheets and things like, because they like playing games, that helps too. So we like, say watermelon, and we've got cards in front of them, they've got to pick up the watermelon, things like that. So, yeah. I'm not sure it's good, but yeah.
How do you answer their questions?
Yeah, how do we answer the questions we can't preach? Depends on what the question is. If it's kind of like just general stuff, we just respond. Otherwise, so there was one time the kid's like, is that the whole story? I'm like, no. But then he's like, why don't you tell us the whole story? Oh, I can't, it's too long. So I was like, well, where's the rest of the story? I said, well, I said, it's in the Bible. So if they ask those kind of questions, I might say, well, if you want to, you go home, ask your parents, you can go find a Bible or look it up on the internet, or something like that. So I think that's okay. But there are things that we very explicitly can't do. Like we can't pray for them. We can't invite them to church events and things like that. But churches can give invitations to school kids, but they'll be like an invite to everyone, because religious groups can invite everyone. But in the class setting, we're not allowed to invite them into faith, that kind of thing. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Do we have short-term teams come and do they teach English? We have had short-term teams come, and they have not taught English because we haven't had any since. Because we started the English thing about 5 years ago, and then COVID was most of that. So we didn't have short-term teams. So yeah.
I think also with our English teaching, especially with that one, it's within the school hours. And so I think there's a relationship that needs to be built with the principal. Yeah, so yeah.
We have had short-termers come, and because the school our kids go to, we know a lot of the teachers. So there's one particular teacher who really likes to just invite foreigners in, just so the kids can hear about another country. So we've had short-termers come and then go into his class. So we had this German guy, and it was really funny because he told the guy to share about, what Germany's like, and it's like, yeah, tell us why you go to church, why you became a Christian, because this is all like cultural things for him. So, because the teacher said that, I guess I was okay. But Taiwan's it's a lot about relationships, and it's quite flexible depending on how things go. Yeah. Any other questions? Other teams have short-term teams that do teach English. Yeah. Sorry. Yep. So we attend a local Presbyterian church in a village part of Donggang. So it's kind of like not in the Donggang town. And we've been there for about a year, and we're trying to, at the moment we just attend. We don't really, when we go back we hope to be more involved. Prior to that we were in another Presbyterian church across the river, which was bigger. But so we moved. But our team tries to attend local churches so we can build relationships with the local Christians and work together. So in the past, the other church we went to, we used to go with some young people to the beach and tell Bible stories to these retired dudes who go down to the beach every evening. And that went for about 2 or 3 years. But then one of them got married and had kids, so a bit less time. The other one got married. And then so it kind of slowly fizzled out over time. But yeah.
Do you direct those who come to your Friday fellowship group to attend church and Presbyterian churches?
Yeah, I think so it depends on who. Some of our friends have attended local churches before, and some of them, for whatever reason, just it didn't connect to something, so that's why they're at our group. Some of them, I pressed the button. Some of them are a little bit not wary, but I think in a big hall and people in pews is a little bit intimidating for some people. So it depends on the person. So we do encourage people to go to different local churches depending. Yeah.
So one of the ladies has expressed a lot of interest in attending a local church because she's never been into a church. Or she has. But she owns a shop that runs 7 days a week that opens from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And her shop aims at the tourist. And so Sundays are one of her busiest days. So she's unable to leave her shop to go to attend the church.
Yeah, that's quite common. Any other questions? Yeah.
What's the average size of a family in Donggang? And then also, once the kids grow up, what usually happens to the young people?
Yeah, so in Donggang, most families would have 1 or 2 kids. We know some families with 3, and I don't think we know any with 4 or more. Well, not immediately. So 3 is considered quite big, and 4 is like outrageous. So, and because it's a country town, there are 2. So schooling goes primary, junior high, senior high. There's a senior high and a senior vocational high school in Donggang. So most local kids will probably go local or close by for that all the way till the end of year 12. After that, there's variations of tertiary type education, and so most kids will leave, and I'd say more than half wouldn't come back after that because it's a country town, there aren't many white collar type jobs. If you want to be an engineer or something, you're not going to get a job in Donggang. So there's not many people in the 20s in Donggang. And then often what happens is if they have a family, especially when they start having kids, they might move back to Donggang. So quite a lot of people we know move back when they have kids or parents are getting older. So they kind of move back to the husband's house, that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's not as extreme. I guess there are some really small villages and it's all just grandparents and grandkids and that's it. No one in between. Everyone else there's no work basically. So they work in the bigger towns and the cities. So Donggang's kind of in between. Yeah.
We're 40 minutes from Kaohsiung. So you could technically, work and drive.
Do we know anyone? Yeah, Australia. Yeah, so a few, yeah. Any other questions? Okay, we'll keep going. Oh, yep.
With the Chinese folk religion so deep seated in Donggang and the fact that we only have 1% of Christians, I have a feeling that you people are like fish swimming against the stream, the tides. Do you feel exhausted sometimes? Disappointed?
I think we feel like it's all long-term work, so it feels like less people become Christians and it takes longer for people to become Christians there than other places we've lived or ministries we've been involved in. So So sometimes there's a whole lot of self-doubt. You're like, oh, am I doing things right? Would it be better if I did this more, less of that? Should I spend more time doing, this or that? And so then you're not really sure. So I think what it often does is it kind of forces you to pray a lot and to trust God with all that. Yeah. It is interesting. There was this family who moved from Chaozhou, the next town, into Donggang. And they're Taiwanese, and they said they thought that the temple worship in Donggang was more fervent than even in the next town. So I think that makes a difference. Yeah.
So what makes it so hard to accept the belief?
What makes it hard? I think it's easier now than, say, 20 years ago or a generation ago. I think the hardest thing is probably just it's still family and all the other things in life. So one of the ladies in our group, her auntie is a temple medium. So as in she's part of a temple, and every now and then God would take control of her, and she would utter divinations and that kind of thing. And so she gets family pressure to not be a Christian or not get baptized. That kind of thing still happens. Not as much as before. But also I think just a general thing that if you become a Christian, it means you're not in control of your life. You don't think you're the boss. So especially for men who don't like that, or the fact that you're not in control of your money and your income and everything in life. You're saying, actually, no, God's in control. I think that's a universal thing. So I think it's a mix of, the religious stuff, the family stuff, and just normal, wanting to be in charge of your own life. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? We'll keep moving on. If you've got questions, feel free to ask as we move along. Oh, okay, so now as another activity, we're going to need various people's, probably don't need everyone, but majority of you, so get ready. Okay. So this activity, we call it people chain. The idea is, let's say, first we need people who don't have the gospel, people who are not yet believers. So today we're going to call them, today's the Taiwanese working class. So we need 2 or 3 people. Oh, we got at least one. How about you guys all come? It would be perfect if you're family. You guys are our Taiwanese working class family. And they don't know Jesus. And so people need to go. And so let's say, for example, in Australia, there's some people willing to go to reach these Taiwanese working class. And so here are our potential missionaries. So we need 1, 2, 3, however many. Anyone want to volunteer? You can volunteer the person next to you as well. Anyone want to volunteer? Otherwise, I'm going to have to look kind of embarrassingly at someone. Maybe someone over here. Oh, excellent. Okay, here we go. This could be prophetic. I don't know. So here we have a potential missionary couple, and they're in Australia. But how are they going to be able to share the gospel with them? So along the way, we think, to share the gospel, it's good to understand the Bible well, have some training for that. So you might go to a Bible college or something similar. So we need someone who's a Bible college trainer. Who wants to be a Bible college trainer? Or you can volunteer the person next to you if you like. Maybe, Okay, here we go. So we have a Bible college teacher trainer. So you have some, you can stand next to them. So you're training them. Okay, but then along the way, what's the next one? We also need people to pray for them. So we need quite a few, maybe 3 or 4. There's 3 or 4 people who want to be the prayer partners. Prayer partners. No, you're Taiwanese working class. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, you guys will pray for them. So you can stand in the next, we'll just stand in the line, make it easier. And so we need people to pray for them. So they've got their Bible college training. People are praying for them. But as they get ready to go, they realize they need to have, phones, computers. And so we need IT person. Any IT geeks in real life or someone like that or want to be? Anyone want to be the IT guy? We need the IT guy to help them sort out the computers, technology. Oh, here we go. You can be IT guy. Okay. Oh, we'll just do what's there. Okay, so now they've got the IT stuff sorted out and they've got prayer partners and then they have a church wanting to support them with finance. But how do you get the money to them in a way that's legal, that's efficient, all the tax things done all right? So we need a finance manager in Australia. So anyone want to be a finance manager? It doesn't have to be a real job. It could be just something you want to do for this activity. Anyway, oh, here we go. I think we need to push you guys down that way. Okay, so you might need a finance manager here, sort out how the money comes. Oh, if you shuffle down a bit, so that you can get money to them from lots of different places in a legal, good way. Now they're in the country. Oh, okay, so now the missionaries have come to the country. You guys stay there. Or should they come across? Yeah, okay, you guys come across. So missionaries are coming across. They come across and they're landing in the country. So they land in the country, but what's the first one? But they don't have anywhere to live. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. So they're new workers. So we need a new worker supervisor, help them sort out all that stuff. So who wants to be the new worker supervisor in Taiwan? Anyone? It'll eventually come to you. We've got a few pieces of paper left. So anyone? Otherwise, hey, thank you. I think we need to keep shuffling people down. Okay, so we have a new worker supervisor. He looks after our new workers, finds them a house, helps them get sorted out. Okay, but they can't speak any Taiwanese or Mandarin, anything. They need to do some language learning. So we need a language teacher or language partner, depending how you learn language. So who wants to be a language teacher, language partner, language help? Anyone? Yeah, I know. These are people who've already said no like 10 times, and now you're gonna have to say yes. Someone in this front row maybe. Thank you so much. Okay, so our new worker supervisor might need to move down a little bit. Okay, so now they've learnt the language, they settled in, oh wait, no, they haven't quite settled in. How are they going to get money in Taiwan? So we need someone to sort out the money this side, to sort out all the tax stuff. When you send money across borders, there's lots of anti-laundering and anti-terrorist laws now about money flowing places. So we need a finance manager in Taiwan. So who wants to be, maybe someone over here? Anyone want to? Oh, wait, we got it. Okay, Mavis, thank you. So we have a finance manager in Taiwan, sort out the No, that's later. Oh no, we'll do that. Okay, so finally, okay, so everyone shuffle down. Missionaries can come here. Okay, so finally they've got the language, they're living, they finally be able to share the gospel. Yay! But there's a car accident, scooter accident. They make a scooter accident. They happen all the time, by the way. And you got broken leg, and it's the first major medical event, and they don't know what to do. What do you do? How do you navigate the medical system there? Should I do this? So we need a field medical advisor to help them with that. So someone in the medical system understands the Taiwanese medical system. Someone back here now, an actual Taiwanese person who actually does medical stuff. Okay, so you can stand there. So now his leg he's not dying. So that's the important part. He's not dying. But to share the gospel, you need long-term work. So they need to be there long-term. And let's imagine they have kids. And so how do you work out what to do with the kids, with the schooling? You're there for a few years, kids are going in school. What are the options? what are the things you need to think about psychologically. So we need a TCK advisor, a third culture kid advisor. So we're moving towards back there now. Anyone who wants to be a third culture kid advisor? Anyone want to? Anyone? Oh, okay. So you can help them think about their schooling and their kids, and then I'll do this one first. And then they've been sharing the gospel for a long time, but they're kind of they're not really that responsive. They're kind of halfway there, and so they're a little bit sad. They're like, what do we do? So we need a Zoom call with people back home. So people back home. So maybe you guys can be people back home. You're not moving. You have to stay here. No, you stay here. You stay here. You stay here. Yeah, because you're zooming, and you're going to Zoom with them. And you're going to just encourage them, pray with them so they can keep going. And so they've been here for 3 or 4 years now, and it's about soon to go back on home assignment so they can share with the church what they're doing. And so they arrange we have standard mental health checks to see how you're going. Process the last few years, see if there's any things that have been hard you can work on. So we need a counselor as well. So anyone be a counselor? You could do this in real life too if you want. Anyone to be anyone? Okay, all right. And so we need a counselor just to talk them through, help them manage their mental health so that they can go back when they're back on home assignment. And then after home assignment, sharing, they can then come back and keep sharing the gospel with them. So this is a people chain. So often we talk about missionaries going somewhere, but there are actually lots and lots of people behind the scenes that you may or may not ever hear about that make it possible for Amy and I and all the missionaries you might know to actually get there, do the work, and keep doing the work. So when you think about any missionaries or missions work, think about all these different roles. Some of them you can do right now, and some of them might people you can pray for. Some of them are Christians, some of them are not. So often language teachers are not Christians necessarily. But yeah, so think about all these different roles that are out there you can pray for, and maybe you can help as well. So thank you very much. You can all have a seat now. Maybe pass the pieces of paper to me. And then there's our Carissa. Oh, yeah. So this is Carissa. She actually spent a bit of time in Taiwan. Yay! But she's with the OMF. Is it New South Wales or Australia? New South Wales office. And what is the actual role? Member care. Anyway, so she's going to share a bit about different ways you can be involved. And so she's here. You can talk to her later tonight as well if you're interested in anything to do with OMF or, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so as you can see, a lot of people need to be involved to get the missionary overseas to share the gospel. So not all of us will get to go overseas and be a long-term missionary, but God calls all of us to be part of his mission. And so I'm here to share a few ways that we, ordinary Christians sitting in the church pews, can get involved. So the first thing is to support the Kohs. And you're here because you love and want to support the Kohs. So you're already doing that, which is great. So I wanted to just challenge you to take the next step. You may or may already be doing this, but ask the Kohs. Like when you get their prayer letter, write back and say, I'm praying for you. But yeah, ask them, how can we support you? How can we pray? How is your support levels? I haven't asked the Kohs about their finances, but it always encourages a missionary to be asked that because it shows you care for them. You care for their finances and their practical needs. And it changes over time. So you might have asked them last year, but their needs might have changed. So just ask them, how are you going? How can I pray for you? What is your support levels? Is there something you need? Or the kids. That's one way you can get involved and love them. You can pray through a prayer guide. So the Kohs, if you haven't got their latest prayer card, ask them for one. You can. Yeah, you can hold So you can pray not just for them, but for the people that they're reaching, the Taiwanese working class. It was really good to hear all your questions. So why is it so hard for people to become Christian? It's a spiritual battle, and they need your prayer to enable the people that they get to share the gospel with, the Bible with, for God to open their eyes and their hearts to believe. And so your prayers are part of that. So get a prayer guide from their table, but also consider joining a Taiwan prayer group or praying for another country or people group. The Taiwan prayer group is now online on Zoom, so you can even join from your home on I think it's the fourth Monday of each month. So that's another thing you can do. And then at your church, you might be at a church where you're not supporting a missionary yet. You can ask your Bible study group or your youth group to say, let's adopt a missionary. Someone that you all know or don't know, but you can say, let's get to know this missionary, family or single, and let's keep up with their prayer letters and support them as a group. That way you get to do it together. It's more fun together, but also you might encourage someone who's never thought about doing it and encourage someone to do that. Or you can read a book together. Who reads nowadays? Still some people. A lot of people don't read. It's hard work because the phone is more exciting. But I've been part of book clubs where we've managed to read an entire book cover to cover because we encouraged each other to do it. So maybe grab a biography or another book and say, let's read it together and encourage each other in what you're reading. Or ask your church, what is being done in missions at the moment. There might be stuff going on that we just not sure about, or there are missionaries that you can choose to get in touch with and support and share with your church. So that's something you can do at church, but you could go and check out mission yourself. Who's been on a short-term mission trip before here? Some of us. Now that COVID, borders are open, we can get on a plane and go somewhere and see for ourselves, not just hear from Aaron and Amy, but see for ourselves what it's like to be on the mission field, to get to know missionaries and see what they do day to day and learn firsthand. So OMF have a short-term mission trip program called Serve Asia. I heard someone's going to do a Serve Asia trip soon here. So you can go for 2 weeks. It could go up to 11 months if you have the time, but go and see for yourself and learn. Or we also have a mission discussion group that happens, I think, about 3 times a year, where there are missionaries who come and share on a particular topic, and you can ask lots of questions. So our next one is happening on the 29th of August, and you'll be in Beecroft. So if you're interested, come and talk to me, and we can get you in touch with the people organising it. Grab one from the back of the table. So I think that's it. Come and see me afterwards if you want, and these are free. So anything on the back table is free. Come and grab something or just talk to me. We're happy to help you think through mission. And I have a colleague who loves talking to people who want to just figure out if mission is something for them. Her name's Christine. She also served in Taiwan with the Kohs for a while. And her job is to talk to people about mission and answer any questions. So make the most of our time here. Thanks for holding this.
Thank you. Okay, so in Taiwan, there's different teams, and there's a team in Meisan, which is in the mountains in the middle of Taiwan. And so this is a video just to get an idea of what another team in Taiwan does with OMF. So.
We're here in Meisan because of Meisan is not a big city, but a small town, and it's one of the most unreached towns in Taiwan.
Only about 20,000 people, and there's one church of about 25 people. So there's lots of opportunity to reach the rest of Meisan as well. Oh, I love the job here because it gives us an opportunity to really get into the community and get to know the kids and their families, and people are very friendly. They're very open to getting to know people, and that makes building relationships very easy and welcoming. I think my favorite thing about how God's been working is that He's opened a lot of doors for us here in Meisan. The opportunities are so many that we can't even plan for them because it's just a blank slate for us.
Since we moved here, we didn't expect to reach people so quickly, especially in elementary school, but God opened this door for us. And also we didn't expect we will have Bible study so earlier, but God provide a seeker to say, oh, I want to read the Bible with you. So it's an amazing thing.
The flip side to that is that because we're just two people, we can't do a lot. So we want to be able to reach more people, and we want to be able to have more activities to get to know the community, but we're limited in our time and our physical ability to do so since we're low in numbers.
So that video was actually about the guy who I said went to the primary school, the German guy, and the teacher asked him to share about his life and how he became Christian. So he came on a short-term trip, and part of his work was to, as a short-term, was to video. So there's lots of different opportunities for short-term stuff. And actually part of my role is mobilization. So I'm the mobilization team leader for Taiwan. And mobilization is basically trying to create resources and do things to help mobilize people, help people better understand and be more involved in missions. And so for us specifically for Taiwan, so I'm kind of oversee our short-term program, our website, social media, videos, and things like that. So yeah. Is this not working? Okay. You want to do this? Now it's time for Amy to talk. Oh, I'm going to talk. Okay, so this is just sharing a bit about our kids and schooling. So 10 years ago, we turned up to Taiwan. Our kids had 0 Mandarin, and this is our second week in Taiwan. And so the older 3 went straight into a kindergarten, so like a preschool. And yeah, we kind of just told them, you know, just see how it goes. Tell us how you feel at the end of the day. And yeah, they were in the local schooling. And about 6 months later, Zoe and Felicity started primary school, because in Taiwan, primary school starts in year 1. And by then, they could kind of have short conversations, but they didn't understand everything. And for one of Zoe's first tests, she got 0, because she could read it out. They have like a phonetic type guide, but she didn't understand the sentences. So the teacher told us, and the teacher went through, you know, line by line to explain to her what all that meant. So throughout the whole time in Taiwan, we've been really blessed to have really good teachers. I think a lot of teachers in Taiwan really care a lot. This is when we moved to Donggang 2 years after moving to Taiwan. So we moved to Taichung first for language study, then we moved to Donggang. And so Jonathan started primary school there as well, and Michi started in a preschool. And then, come on. Oh, no, it jumped. Yeah, so then 6 years ago, we came back for home assignment. Our kids all went to the local school. It was the first time they were all in the same school, and it's also the first time Jonathan and Mitchell were in school in the Australian system. And then we went back, and then Zoe and Felicity graduated from primary school, went to junior high. Zoe won a prize for, and so that's the mayor she got to meet. Well, we all got to meet the mayor. Oh, come on. Okay, and then now the girls are in senior high school. So they've just finished the first year of senior high school. There's 2 more years left. So in 2 years, we'll be back. And that's when the girls will transition, coming back to Australia to probably do university or something like that. But that's all happening, in 2 years. So in the meantime, we've got to work out how that works out, both logistics, but also application for unis and things like that, especially because they would have finished the Taiwan high school certificate type thing, but they'll be applying as local students because we're Australian citizens. So just pray for that transition. We're really thankful for the many good teachers we've had in Taiwan. We're thankful the kids have adapted well so far. We just pray for them that they'll continue to grow in maturity in Jesus. Okay. This is me there, and that's Zhonghe. Zhonghe, one day he was telling me that he had a dream and that ghosts were chasing him. So Zhonghe is normally a very devout follower of his God. And so this is the top floor of his house where most Taiwanese people have a whole floor, whole room dedicated to their God. They have a shrine. So the God that's the God statue, and then that's the ancestor tablet. And then this particular photo was taken at Tomb Sweeping Festival a couple of years ago. And so there's extra stuff out here that's not normally that much. But he was explaining to me how it all works, and he's usually very devout. And so he had this dream. And in the dream, these ghosts were chasing him. And he said he went to his God, but the God couldn't help him deal with these ghosts. So he's running away from these ghosts. And in the dream, we're still in the dream, he bumped into Christian friends. And the Christian friends gave him a cross, a crucifix. And the ghosts were scared of the cross. And so he asked me, is that true? And I kind of thought, well, I don't know. But Jesus is more powerful than anything else and more powerful than any other of these spirits. So what I did was I then told him the story when Jesus cast out the legion of demons. And I said, if you ever do run into ghosts or spirits in real life, you can ask Jesus to help you, ask Jesus to protect you. If you trust in Jesus, he will help you. Interestingly, so he tells me the story, and then anyway, in this dream, eventually the ghosts kind of smash up the cross anyway, but that's not the point. But he kind of like told me the story, and he's actually the husband of Ping Ping. Ping Ping is one of the ladies who comes on Friday night. And so Ping Ping's now a believer, and he kind of jokes that because of this story and this dream he had that the ghost was scared of the cross, maybe